Hello, today we will discuss the soil densities and soil porosity. So first, we need to identify what is soil density. In soil density, there are two major density, bulk density and particle density. So what is bulk density? Soil weight is typically measured by soil volume rather than by individual particles. Bulk density refers to the weight of dry soil per unit volume. It takes into account both the solid and the pore space, while particle density only focuses on the mineral solid. And the particle density is a soil particle has no pore space and is nothing more than a very small piece of rock. The weight of an individual soil particle per unit volume is called particle density. Usually, particle density is expressed in unit of grams per cubic centimeter.
The image illustrates the difference between the bulk densities and the particle density in the soil. As said earlier, bulk density refers to the mass of dry soil per unit volume of the soil, encompassing both solid particles and pore spaces. However, in particle density, it representing the mass of soil particle per unit volume, excluding any pore spaces. In the left side, or in the particle density, the container is completely filled with solid particles, representing a density of 2.66 gram cubic centimeter. This value signifies the inherent density of the soil particles themselves. In the right section, or in the bulk densities, the container houses only 50% solid particles and 50% air spaces, or the pores. This translates to bulk density of 1.33 gram per cubic centimeter, which is lower than the particle density because it incorporates the less dense air space. The image effectively demonstrates how bulk density accounts for both soil solid and pore spaces, while particle density solely considers the density of the solid particles. The table shows the relationship between the soil bulk densities and the root growth based on soil texture. For example, the soil texture, it refers to the relative proportion of sand, silt, and clay particles in the soil. The ideal bulk density for plant growth. These values represent the range of bulk densities that are most favorable for optimal root growth. Bulk densities that restricts root growth. These densities exceeding the values can be hinder root penetration and development due to increased soil compaction. For example, in the table for sandy soils, the ideal bulk densities for plant growth fall below 1.60 gram cubic centimeter, while the bulk densities exceeding 1.80 gram cubic centimeter can restrict growth, root growth.
Noon naman, ating naman pag-usapan kung ano nga ba ang correlation between ah, particle density and of course yung bulk density. Earlier, na-explain naman and na-discuss kung ano nga ba ang definition ng isang bulk density and particle density. But in addition, dagdag ko lang, ang bulk density ito yung tinatawag natin na mass ng isang granular material na kung saan this material or yung mass na 'to, included dito yung tinatawag natin na pore spaces. On the other hand, unlike bulk density na included ang pore spaces, ang particle density Ito naman yung mass ng single particle na kung saan excluded dito or hindi kasama dito yung tinatawag natin na pore spaces. Before anything else, ano nga ba yung tinatawag natin na pore spaces? Hindi ba ito yung portion ng ating lupa na kung saan it includes the portion of air and water. Or in other words, ito yung void na tinatawag sa lupa. So, makikita natin dito sa slide, mayroong equation. Ang equation ay bulk density equals to particle density times porosity. At the same time, sa baba na ito nakalagay ang both bulk density and particle density have or are inversely proportional to each other. With this equation, madedetermine na natin kung ano nga ba ang correlation ng both type of density to each other. Ibig sabihin, they are inversely proportional to each other in a way na kapag tumaas ang particle density, bumababa ang bulk density or vice versa. So, using this equation, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin nito? Sinasabi lang dito na hindi lang naapektuhan or hindi lang na-impluensyahan ang bulk density ng particle density, but also it includes the porosity or yung pore spaces or yung void. So with that, alam natin na kung walang particle density, walang bulk density. Or with bulk density, of course, meron din particle density. Dito lang sinasabi na kumbaga they correlates in a way na nakapagitna yung porosity na tinatawag natin or yung pore spaces ng lupa natin. Ibig sabihin lang nun, kapag ang percent porosity ay nag-increase, bumababa yung bulk density natin. Kapag naman ang porosity natin ay nag-decrease, doon din tumataas ang particle density natin. In other words, as I said earlier, ang bulk density and particle density, they correlates in a way na kapag ang bulk density or in a way na nai-impluensyahan ng particle density and porosity ang bulk density.
And next is the soil porosity. According kay Nemo, soil porosity refers to the fraction of the total soil volume that is taken up by the pore space. Pore spaces may be formed due to the movement of roots, worms, and other organisms. Mainly, pore spaces facilitate the availability and movement of air or water within the soil environment. Lastly, the ideal percent porosity is 50%.
So what is the importance of the soil densities and soil porosity? In the importance of this matter, it talks about water movement, soil aeration, air and water traffic, support plant root and growth, and also it talks about runoff and erosion. So when we talk about the water movement,
So first is water movement. The movement of the water in the soil could be hindered or restricted according to the pore spaces created according to the arrangement of sizes and the beds. Water movement in soil can be significantly influenced by whether the soil particles are flocculated or dispersed. So makikita natin dito ang flocculated soil. So flocculated soil refers to the condition where soil particles, particularly clay particles, stick together to form aggregates. Factors promoting flocculation include the presence of calcium, magnesium, and other multivalent cations as well as organic matter. So, paano nito naapektuhan yung water movement? So first is increased porosity. Flocculated soil has larger pore spaces due to the aggregation of soil particles. This higher porosity allows to faster water infiltration. So dito, mas maraming space, mas madaling nakakapasok yung mga tubig. Second is improved drainage. With larger pores, water moves more quickly through the soil profile, resulting in the better drainage. So dahil nga makikita natin dito na hiwa-hiwalay or may mga spaces ay mas madaling daloy yung tubig. So third is better aeration. Larger pores also facilitate better gas exchange, which is crucial for root respiration and overall soil health. So in the other hand naman, makikita natin dito ang dispersed soil. Dispersed soil is the condition where soil particles are separated or dispersed, often due to the presence of sodium ions. Sodium causes soil particles to repel each other, leading to dispersion. So, paano nito naapektuhan yung movement ng water? Ay first, decrease porosity. So, kung sa flocculated na lupa ay nag-increase yung porosity, dito naman ay nagdi-decrease yung porosity. Dispersed soil has smaller pore spaces because the soil particles are not aggregated. This results in lower porosity and slower water infiltration. So, dahil nga dikit-dikit yung magkaka-compress sila, mahirap na makapasok dito yung tubig. And second is pore drainage. Due to the smaller and more close pores, water moves more slowly through the soil profile, leading to poor drainage and potential waterlogging. So third is reduced aeration. Smaller pores result in poor gas exchange, which can cause oxygen deficiencies in the root zone and negatively affects root growth and function. So dahil magkakadikit sila ay mahirap na makahinga yung root.
So when we talk about soil aeration, it talks about the arrangement of pore spaces that promotes or restrict free movement of air in the soil. So yung tinutukoy dito is yung flow o yung movement ng water, kung paano siya makakapasok at mapupunta dun sa roots ng plant natin, kung saan dun may exchange ng oxygen, is dun malalaman sa pore spaces na meron doon sa isang soil if marami ba siyang mga spaces, kung madami yung macro spaces, meso spaces, or if maunti siya. It means pag marami yung pore spaces, mas maganda yung magiging flow or yung exchange ng oxygen natin. Wherein, kapag mas maunti yung mga pore spaces natin, doon magkakaroon ng restrict. Wherein, doon may hirapan na magkaroon ng exchange ng oxygen. Wherein, dahil dito, mas hindi nagiging maganda yung pagkaka-establish ng mga plants. So, yun, kaya dapat alam natin kung ano yung gagawin natin kapag compacted na yung soil natin, which means na maunti na lang yung pore spaces niya.
Soil porosity is like a well-designed air and water traffic control system for plants. Sufficient pore space allow air to circulate and water to infiltrate, ensuring roots can breathe and access water like a network of tiny highways. Think of these pores as air and water channels. On the other hand, high bulk density, low porosity acts like a clog system, restricting air and water movement. This can be detrimental to plant health, potentially suffocating roots and causing waterlogging, similar to a city with constant traffic jams. In essence, healthy soil porosity is the key to a thriving underground metropolis for plant roots.
So next, the soil densities and the soil porosity also talks about the support on plant and root growth. So here, a good structure of pore spaces in the soil could help the roots of the plants to develop. The root anchorage could be laid down properly by managing soil porosity. So dito naman is makikita naman natin na pagka yung pore spaces natin is dikit-dikit or masyado siyang maunti, it means yung ugat na meron yung plant is hindi siya makakapag-establish of hindi mas lalaki yung network of roots niya. Since yung pinaka-area is magre-restrict sa na mas humaba pa yung mga roots niya. Since unti nga yung mga spaces, mas compacted yung soil, it means na hindi magiging maganda o magiging shallow lang yung pagkakaroon ng root niya. So, yon sinasabi nga sa atin na dapat maganda yung pagkaka-establish ng porosity natin sa ating lupa para magkaroon ng mas malalim o mas magandang pag-grow ng root natin. And syempre, magli-lead na rin yun ng mas maganda establishment ng plant natin. So, mas makikita natin yung kagandahan nito dito sa next slide natin. Which is, ayan, makikita natin na mas maganda yung structure and yung network ng roots natin dito sa plants kapag mas maganda yung pagkakaayos ng ating mga aggregates wherein mas marami o mas maayos yung mga pore spaces niya in compared dito sa pore and mas maunti yung mga pore spaces natin. So ayan, hindi siya mas nakakapag-grow, hindi niya expand pa yung root niya dahil nalilimit nga siya, nare-restrict siya. So we're here sa ating next is the runoff and erosion. So here, the compaction of the soil could lead to runoff and soil erosion due to the infiltration of the water. So dito, nagkakaroon ng runoff and erosion sa lupa natin kapag yung lupa natin is ma-compact, wherein yung bulk density natin is mataas, wherein dahil dito nga, mas umuunti yung pore spaces natin sa lupa natin, ibig sabihin compacted siya. Hindi dun pumapasok nga yung sa yung filtration ng water. So yun, hindi nga nakaka-enter. So ibig sabihin, mas nagiging mas nag-i-stay lang yung water niya dun sa surface ng lupa. Wherein dahil nga dun hindi siya nag-filtrate o hindi siya pumapasok dun sa lupa, ang nangyayari is dumadaloy lang siyang tuloy-tuloy. And dahil doon nagkakaroon tayo ng runoff and also ng erosion na hindi maganda para sa ating lupa and para sa environment. So, ayun, nalaman natin kung ano ang halagahan ng ating mga ng soil densities and also ng soil porosity sa ating lupa. If ito nga yung mga pagbabasihan natin. So, in this report, ito yung mga references natin. So, that's all. And sana is may natutunan kayo dito sa reporting na ginawa natin. So, thank you and good luck, Joyce. So, this is the report that we have prepared, and thank you for your time and for your listening.